Exclusion presents a series of effects on personal traits. Let's take 1. Effects on intelligence. A series of studies found that social exclusion caused a sharp drop in intelligent thought as measured by various IQ and reasoning tests. Apparently, that sort of rejection makes you less likely to respond and function in intelligent ways. The main exceptions were automatic information processing tasks, such as simple learning and memory tasks. These were unaffected. Exclusion mainly impaired logical reasoning, extrapolation, and other mental operations that required moving from one set of information to a different conclusion. The fact that exclusion affected more control processing and not automatic tasks raised the possibility that exclusion affects the self's executive function. Self-regulation is a large and important part of executive function and a powerful basic process that facilitates human social life. 2. Effects on empathy. In one study, it was shown that rejection by one person led to reduced empathy towards a second, and this reduction in empathy statistically predicted low probability to help a third party. In other words, if one person is excluded from a group, they will most likely feel less empathic towards other people. At the same time, the probability for said person to help other people will decrease due to low empathy capacities. 3. Effects on attention. Research shows that exclusion resulted in individuals becoming attuned to signals of inclusion and acceptance. In their first study, the researchers found that excluded individuals were particularly fast to identify smiling faces in a crowd of non-smiling faces, and were slower to attentionally disengage from smiling faces in a separate task. Using eye tracking, they also found that excluded individuals fixated attention more on smiling faces. Importantly, these attentional benefits only occurred for positive social targets. When the targets showed disapproving facial expressions or were non-social images, socially excluded participants did not show any increase in attentional attunements. The researchers interpreted their findings as evidence that social exclusion prepares people to be particularly attuned to signals of potential affiliation as a means of potential altering downstream behaviors, for example, approaching others. 4. Effects on sociability. Recent research proposed that excluded individuals should be less likely to stereotype and more likely to individuate others. Therefore, carefully thinking about the encoding information about others, social targets, should be particularly important for socially excluded individuals because it is so important for them to find targets whom are good potential affiliation partners. Conversely, stereotyping a target might reduce the pool of individuals an excluded person is willing to affiliate with, which would reduce the probability of successful affiliation. Relying on stereotypes is a potentially risky avenue for a person's perception. Broadly, the literature suggests that socially excluded individuals become particularly attuned to seeing the world and others in ways that may facilitate the goal of reconnection. Social exclusion results in the perception that others are closer to the victim, and this is true for accepting others and even neutral targets, but not the perpetrators of social exclusion. However, social exclusion sometimes precipitates aggressive behavior, a response unlikely to lead to successful reintegration into the group. In seminal work, researchers found that excluded people evaluated targets more negatively and blasted targets who initiated the exclusion with more aversive noise relative to included participants. Other research has supported the claim that recently excluded individuals are significantly more likely to aggress against the perpetrator of their social marginalization and even against innocent targets who were not involved in the original exclusion situation.